Most project managers know they need a governance model. The question is, which one is right for your project? In fact, if you're using a governance model already and it seems like it's fighting you, it may be because it's the wrong one. So let's look at 5 governance models and figure out what's a good fit for your next project or the project you're in. First of all, why use a governance model? Because it can protect your project, it can reduce risks, it can manage suppliers, and it can make sure issues are mitigated or escalated so that they can get solved quickly and keep your project on track. So now I'm going to go over governance models. These are the formula for a governance, not the actual implementation of the governance. If you want to know about implementation of the governance, check out this video. Project Governance Model 1. Hierarchical. This is the most common methodology where the project manager reports to the owner and all the project leads report to the project manager. Is the most simple, and it's a really good way of working if you have a smaller or less strategic project. This is generally enough. Sometimes project owners together with project managers will also develop a users group, which I will talk about in a future video. Now let's go through some of the key features of hierarchical. It has clear reporting to a high-level executive, so that product owner needs to be the right person for the job and high enough level to solve all the problems of the project. It's clearly defined roles and responsibility. The project manager is running the project owner is managing escalation, budgets, and so forth, major authority necessary to get the job done. It assumes standardization of processes, procedures, and so on within the organization. Now let's talk about governance model 2. Collaborative. Collaborative governance models distribute the decision-making authority through multiple stakeholders, and the model isn't necessarily a funnel where all the stakeholders are talking to the project manager and then the project manager is talking to the project team. It actually might be a more interactive, collaborative way of working, so that multiple stakeholders may be actually talking directly to different kinds of team members. Sometimes it takes a village, right? So in this model, you have different kinds of stakeholders, potentially a business stakeholder, a subject matter expert stakeholder in that governance model, and of course you'll have the product owner or the representative of the end state product. This collaborative way of working really maximizes cooperation between all the team members. And when the steering committee interacts with the team, they're helping to mitigate problems for the project team and also the project manager. They're not superseding the project manager's authority. That's important. What you need for this to work is a high-performing team. And if you want to know more about what makes a high-performing team high-performing, check out this video. Key features of the collaborative process are a distributed decision-making authority, emphasis on collaboration and engagement. A project manager is part of the governance body. That works best and collaborative, so the project manager actually knows when the parts of the steering committee or governance body are going to be talking to their team, and where the approach to project management needs to be flexible and adaptable. Maybe you don't know everything about your final product and you're figuring it out as you go. That's when you really need this distributed decision-making authority. Now let's go on to the third model, decentralized. In a decentralized governance model, decision-making authority is delegated to individual project managers or their teams, and each project manager has the autonomy to decide their respective projects. So they're essentially acting as both the product owner and the project manager. This works well when projects are small, lean and mean, and need to work fast, but you need a power project manager, someone who really gets the business side of things, can manage a team, and can handle all the communication and politics inside your company to keep their project on track. It also needs a project manager who understands the procurement process. And if you want to know more about the procurement process, check out this video. So let's look at some of the key features of the decentralized model. Decision-making authority is delegated to the project manager and the project teams. It's good when projects need to run fast or they need to be tailored for a specific purpose, and it demands a high level of accountability, transparency, and skill set from the project manager. And the fourth governance model you might want to look at is the functional governance model. This is one where department heads are actually acting as the steering committee or governance body. This is because those projects are going to be taken on by those departments later, and so they need to have authority over what those projects are going to deliver to them. And in doing that, you need to have a very strong department head, a department head that again understands the business angle besides the departmental functions. They might be allocating resources from their department to that project. In fact, that project is happening potentially completely inside their department, but they also need to understand that the outcome fits with the greater landscape of technology, processes, people, organization, etc. And let's talk about the key features for the functional governance model. The project manager reports to the department head. Resource allocation and priorities are based on departmental needs and functions. And the last point is why you do a functional governance model in the first place. It's alignment between the project and the department that's going to run that project. And the fifth model is the governance model for Agile. Now, of course, we know that Agile has its own way of working, has its own general governance model where you don't have a project manager, you have a scrum master, you don't have a hierarchical team leads and team members, you just have team functions. And in that way, you also might need a steering committee still. But that steering committee becomes advisory because you can't have a self-functioning team if you have a steering committee making all the decisions and calling all the shots. This advisory team can do something really important, which is take some of the burden off the Scrum Master for escalation and issue resolution,